Is Austin Bronner. And Austin is a special friend of Klaviyo. He's been working with us since this company was 3 people. So he's seen the full thing, worked with hundreds of brands, has a popular e-commerce podcast as well. Fun fact about Austin that he just told me is that he has traveled 3 countries, across 3 countries by train: China, India, and what was it, Russia. What was the coolest train trip?
Is this working? Yeah, it's working. Russia, Trans-Siberian, by far the coolest. You cross 10 time zones over a period of like 4.5 days of train, almost 5 days of train. So, highly recommend it.
Awesome. Give it up for Austin.
All right, thank you. Nice. Yes, Steve. I like that music. It's nice. Kick it off. So today, I'm going to talk about how to systematically grow your business with email. That's the title of my presentation. Basically today, what we're going to talk about, I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I'm here. Nish talked about it a little bit. I'll talk about a little bit about why it is expensive right now to achieve growth in your business. Talk a little bit more about big picture, what you should be thinking about with email marketing, and also share some email sequences that have worked really well for my clients. So my name is Austin Bronner. I'm the CEO of Brand Growth Experts. Also host the E-commerce Influence podcast. Anybody here listen to the E-commerce Influence podcast? Nice. That's awesome. So it's designed for, I record it for you guys. Basically 7-8 figure e-commerce business owners. We talk about traffic and conversion strategies. So since starting Brand Growth Experts, we've worked with hundreds of brands. I've liked this conference a lot. I liked Mike's presentation yesterday because he talked a lot about smarter, more profitable emails. That's what we focus on. I've worked with companies like Dr. Axe, Four Sigmatic, Kettle and Fire, Lumi, a lot of big direct-to-consumer companies to help them figure out a strategy and send smarter, more profitable emails. Worked with Movement Watches back when Jake and the team were pretty early on, helped them grow, and he said one of the things that really helped him grow to $10 million in sales was listening to the podcast and then working with me. So I'm pretty proud of that. They just sold for $100 million, which is an awesome thing in our community to see. So live and breathe this stuff for our clients. It's a lot of fun. This has been a great conference because it's deep in email. So I wanted to share a couple like results and give you an idea of what the type of impact email marketing can have if you have a larger brand. This is a company that came to one of my intensives in August. In July, they were doing about $250,000 in sales, about 13% of that from email, about 7 cents per recipient. They came to an intensive in Austin. You guys know Jake, he was there, Jake Cohen. Gino's there as well, who was on a panel. And they came to this intensive. We worked, overhauled their email strategy. By October, they'd bumped up to about 25% of their revenue coming from email, moved up to around $350,000 in revenue per month. And then by December, again, it's the holidays, so obviously revenue's increasing. They were doing about $1 million a month, and email was 27% of their revenue. So you can make really big improvements if you focus on email marketing. Implement some of these strategies. Another client came in December. They were doing about 5% of their revenue from email. They just updated me. They said in the last couple months, specifically in August, they went from $500,000 a month to $1 million a month and did about 20% of their revenue from email, which is 4 times what they were doing at the beginning of the year. So this stuff, it really works. And it's not one of those things that's kind of like vanity metrics. It drives sales and drives growth. So you guys are here. You guys have traveled from all over because you want to grow your business, right? That's why you guys came to Boston and came to this conference. The tough thing right now is that in 2018 and over the next year, 2 years, advertising is going to continue to get more and more expensive. So every time you want to just put down the gas and grow your business, it's more expensive. A lot of the stuff that's happening with Facebook and Instagram, supply is dropping. They're trying to make sure they're doing a better job for the actual users of Facebook. And we've had a good run. We've had a good run of cheap traffic on Facebook and Instagram. It's it's difficult it's not going to happen going forward. Some of the bigger players are moving in, and so it's very important to focus on kind of bigger picture. What you're going to do as advertising gets to be more expensive. Another problem is, a lot of the stuff that looks really sexy from the outside might not work for a lot of the business owners here, right? A couple of these companies, there's a couple companies here. You guys all know these companies: Warby Parker, Casper, Harry's. These are all like e-commerce darlings, right? Everybody knows them. What do these three brands all have in common? Do you have ideas? Exactly. So they've raised a ton of money, right? Look at this from Warby Parker. They raised $290 million. They started in 2010. So it's been 8 years, raised almost $300 million. Harry's raised $500,000. Just this year, they raised another $112 million. Casper raised $240 million. They plan an IPO. This is their chief executive, Philip Krim. So they've been around for literally years, since 2010. And like you said, they're not profitable at this point. None of these companies are profitable. They could be profitable, but they continue to raise money. So they're playing a totally different game. Imagine running your business for 8 years and not being profitable. It's not going to happen, right? They're playing a totally different game. The game they're playing is category-defining victory. Like, the only thing that Casper, when they raise this much money, they need to be the category winner. So it's a different game. And sometimes you get sucked into looking at these companies, what they're doing, the sexy marketing they're doing, and being like, well, that's interesting. Well, it is interesting, but it's not the same game. So, I've been here for the last 2 days, listening to presentations, talking about tactics with email, stuff you can do to drive revenue. Here's what most people won't tell you when they're talking about whether it's a Facebook agency or email marketing. It's that email and Facebook, they are just a communication channel for your marketing strategy. That's it, right? It's a way to deliver your marketing strategy to your customers. That's the whole point of why we're here, to deliver a better marketing strategy to our customers. The reason why email is so important is because email allows us to create more profitable repeat purchases. That's the reason why email is so powerful and why we're all here and why we use Klaviyo, or some of you guys don't use Klaviyo, but why I think you guys should, because it's a good company. But the reason why email is so important is because it allows you to get those repeat purchases that are more profitable. Here's a kind of a breakdown of what I mean. Steve was talking about this yesterday in his presentation about Smile.io and loyalty. So here's a company, just an example, right? They get 2 orders. The first order comes in, you attract somebody through paid ads. Let's say the revenue is $100, cost of goods sold is $50, cost of acquisition $60, right? So you're losing $10 on that first purchase, which is quite common. You can either break even or lose money in the first purchase. Then you expect to make it back on the second order. But what often happens is people come back through pay-per-click for the second order. So instead of making it up on that second order, you are actually down another $10. This is the whole thing Steve was talking about with Blue Apron, right? They expected to make the money on the back end, haven't made the money. It's been very tough for them. The reason why email is really important is because if you make that get the first order from, let's say, Facebook ads or Instagram or Google ads, whatever, and you still maybe lose money or break even, that second order, you're not paying per click. You're paying to send out all these emails, so you're making a much higher profit on that second order. So that's the reason it's important, because you might see 5x return, like it's maybe 5 times more profitable or 3 times more profitable on your second order than your first. So here's how to think about systematically growing your business with email. All right, there are only 3 levers that you can pull to grow your business. It can be complicated quite a bit, but these are really the 3 levers. Number 1, you can increase the number of customers that you've got. Say you have 5,000 customers this year. If you double it, it's 10,000 the next year, all things being equal. Well, you've doubled your business, Great job. If you increase average order value, if people are coming in and on average they're spending $100 and the next year they spend $200, everything else, same customers, same transactions, your business doubles. And the last thing is increasing purchase frequency. So increasing purchase frequency, if they're buying 1.5 times, they buy 3, your business doubles. Those are the 3 levers you can use to grow your business. Here's a good example. Company from 2017, say they had 18,000 customers, average order value of $110, 22,000 transactions, so giving you a frequency of like 1.2. So the average person buys 1.2 times. Then I'm going into some numbers here. We'll get out of that in a second. But it's important because you want to think, how can this company easily double their business in the next year? Well, if what they do is they just focus on a 30% increase in each one of these levers, the business is going to double. Right? So rather than doubling the number of customers with paid ads, what if they just got a 30% increase in customers, a 30% increase in average order value, and a 30% increase in frequency over the year? Right? So you're thinking in a different way than just ramping up ad spend. So it's a way to do it, especially as the reason I'm bringing this up is because advertising continues to get more and more expensive. It's going to be harder just to push down the gas and bring in more customers. It's going to be more expensive to do that. So let's look at some of the other levers that we can work with. Let's see here. So like I said, 30% increase in each is a 218% growth in your business. So the 3 levers are this: increase customers, increase average order value, and last thing is increase frequency. You can do all 3 of these things with email marketing. This is what I encourage you guys to think about when you're planning out your email strategy. So number 1 is increase customers, right? How do you increase your guys' customers? Well, you got to increase conversions on your site. That's the way to do it, right? If you want to increase it with email marketing, you got to increase conversions. If you want to grow your business and you want to win customers off of paid ads, you've got to either convert better, right? So people come into your site versus your competitors, your site's got to convert better, or you need to spend more. If you can spend, let's say 35, or if your competitor can spend $35, you can spend $45 or $50, you can buy more traffic and you're going to win, right? You're going to be able to spend more than them. So email allows you to do both of these things if you focus on those 2 things you want to accomplish in converting better. So I encourage you guys to run this report. This is a report from a client from earlier this year. I segmented out email traffic and all other users. If you look at e-commerce conversion rate for email traffic, it's 2 times that of all other users. And that makes sense, right? You want people that are on your email list are going to be more likely to purchase. They've raised their hand, they're interested, and you've got more shots at getting them to buy something because you can deliver products over time. And it may not be ready right away, but later on they might be ready. So it allows you to convert better, and since it brings in your highest lifetime value customers, that's where they hang out. You can spend more because you're earning more profit. I was just working with a client earlier this year, and they were super proud to show me that on their newsletter list, Jay Cutler, Chicago Bears quarterback, was like, opens up all their emails. He goes and he buys their product like right away. They're like, he's the definition of a whale. This guy's buying everything. And they're like, yeah, Jay's opened them all up. That's where the whales, the highest lifetime value people, are going to be hanging out. They're going to be on your newsletter. So you can earn more from those people. They're more profitable. And you can dump that back into advertising because it's getting more expensive. And you need that money to dump back into advertising. Like I said, this is where high value customers are. This is an email sequence. Went out to 104 people. There were some big spenders on that, and it brought in $13,000 in revenue because that's where the whales were hanging out. So number 1, if you want to out-convert and grow your, increase conversions, you need to grow your email list. We've talked a lot about this. Brian talked about this yesterday. You need to grow your email list. It is 100% still your most valuable resource, no doubt about it. Right? And if you ever try to sell your business, people are going to want to know what's your email list, what's the size of your email list, how engaged is it, how much revenue are you driving from it. The reason is because every purchase from email is worth more than the rest of your purchases that are coming in. So that's where your profit center is. So these are the 2 questions I like to ask myself when I'm looking at capturing more emails, right? So these are the questions that I'm looking at. Number one, the question I ask is, how do I capture more quality emails? Brian talked about this yesterday. So it's very easy to capture emails. It's easier than it's ever been. We could put together some, cruise ship giveaway thing and put it out there, give 1 out of every 100 people like $50, and you're going to get a ton of people signing up for this. It may be totally not relevant to your brand, but you can get a lot of emails. What you want is quality emails, right? The emails that are actually relevant to people that are interested in your product. That's the first thing to think about. Number two, always think to myself, can we make a better offer? And Mike from Taylor Stitch talked about this yesterday. He was like, they run a 20% off. That's the best offer they can give because they know how important it is to get people to convert right away. So think about those questions. I'll give you guys an example here of a company I think is doing a great job. Anne-Marie Skincare. So notice on their homepage, right, they sell wild-crafted organic skincare. I have no idea what wild-crafted means, but sounds really, really good, right? So on their homepage, what do you have here? You got, what's your skin score? So first thing right there, it's a little survey. It says, what's your skin score? Get your free personalized results and find out your skin score. So their customer is interested in skincare. They're giving them an option to kind of buy in very easily. They click on that button, it takes them to a type form. Does anybody here use Typeform? It's an awesome tool, You can integrate it directly with Klaviyo, and you can pass properties over. So they have this little Typeform here, they set it up. This is something you guys could easily set up. They say, what's your skin score, 0 to 100? See how you rank and get personalized DIY beauty tips and recommendations. Someone clicks Let's Begin. It's a 10-question thing, and then they give you your score. So I ran through, I got a 70 out of 100, dry skin, but I'm above average in their little ranking here. I'm sure everyone's above average. No one's below average in their results, I'm guessing. And it says, click the button below to get your personalized recommendations. So in that process, they capture an email, pass it to Klaviyo, and pass all these, or whatever they're using, I'm not sure if they're using Klaviyo or not, pass it across, and then give people personalized recommendations. So right here, this is what they give you. Wanted personalized recommendations? They say, we recommend the following. Restore sample kit. It says, get my kit. So for their wild crafted skincare line is only $10 and shipping is on them. What a great offer, right? That is like the lowest risk offer. It's $10, they can get started, and they capture a ton of emails. This is what I want you guys to think about when you're trying to design a way to capture more emails. Offer is super, super important. Here's another example from a client, runs a company called Mirror Way. His name's Jared Prince, super sharp guy. Had him on my podcast. He, if you've ever been to REI and look behind the counters at all the REIs, you're gonna see his maps. So they are national park maps, different topo maps. They're really beautiful. So people who are buying national park maps, he was thinking he's got a very strict policy against offering any discounts because his product's super high-end and custom. So he's like, how do I capture more quality emails? He's like, these people are buying national park maps. So he put together an offer. Says, do you love our national parks? Would you like to win a 1-year pass to all of them? Super aligned with the people browsing for national park maps. They can click yes, I'd love to win. And then every month he gives out 1 annual pass for free entry into every park. So you can enter your name and email address. It is way cheaper for him to run this than it is to give away 10 or 15% margin on every product. And he captures a lot of quality emails. So my point with all this is that success with capturing more emails and increasing conversions, it's not going to come from implementing behind the laptop, implementing some new tool that's like popping out from the side and trying to like interrupt people and get emails. What matters is that you're sitting there and you're thinking through your offer. Can I capture more quality emails with this? Is it something that people want? That's the focus and where you're going to have success. So I always get this question, what about gamification? We got some big gamification fans. We got Steve Chu here, who's beating the drum for Wheelio on the podcast, right? And
Actually,
Privy. Okay. So anyway, so with these tools, these gamification tools, so they're cool and they work and they capture more emails. What you got to be careful with is making, and Brian talked about this, you got to make sure that you are really cleaning your list consistently, because you're going to get a lot of people that sign up that aren't quality emails. So if you're going to use those tools, you got to be in there cleaning out the people. Give them a short leash. If they're not opening emails, just get rid of them. Don't do a win-back campaign to them, because you're going to have terrible open rates. So that moves to my next lever, which is increasing average order value. Increasing average order value. The question is, you might be thinking to yourself, like, how do I increase average order value with email? Right? That's probably the first thing you're thinking. So again, what I said was it's all taking your marketing strategy and communicating it. That's what email is about. It's a tool. So first thing you can do, if you want to increase average order value, you can offer bundles and kits of your products. Right? This is a great way to start thinking about way to boost up average order value. I'll give you an example here. It's a company called Tula. And a lot of skincare, you notice I'm featuring skincare companies. It's a competitive market, and they're pretty good marketers. But Tula, they sell all these products individually, or you can buy an anti-aging discovery kit with them all combined. And the reason I say it's a communication channel for your marketing is you got to come up with creative offers and then communicate them with email. So you can send them out, maybe make a month a promotion and send this kit out. Also, Dr. Axe, really smart marketers over there. That's why they've grown so much, and they just raised $100 million earlier this year, was because they have a smart marketing team. So they sell essential oils. So I didn't screenshot the entire page here, but scrolling down, you can buy one essential oil. You can buy 3 essential oils. You can also get the essential oil starter kit for $89.55 or the master kit. And the reason I bring this up is it's a great way to think about your products. Can you put them in a bundle or a kit and then promote them? And that could be through flows or through campaigns. That's just part of your marketing strategy to increase average order value. Another great thing you can run for increasing average order value, buy X amount and get this free. That's something that works quite well. Have a member in my group who also came to one of my intensives, and he runs a fitness and apparel company. Fitness apparel. So anybody in the fitness space, what do you expect the best month of the year to be for fitness? January, right? So he said his best month of the year in August because he ran a campaign that was buy X, get this free. And he was like, we know that he knew they were going to get killed in August. So he put this campaign together, promoted it through email, buy X, get this free. Companies like Vineyard Vines, they do this, they're pretty into this. So buy 3, get 1 free over a period, a couple days. They also have like, enjoy this gift. You buy $250, you get a gift. It's a way to, again, not necessarily like discount your product, but offer something, some type of a promotion on your calendar to get things going. So that's a good opportunity, a good way to drive increased average order value. You can also upsell and cross-sell products, right? Amazon spent 35% of Amazon's revenue comes from upselling and cross-selling. Now you guys are not going to get 35% of your revenue from upselling and cross-selling. You don't have Amazon's products, right? They've got unlimited products to upsell and cross-sell. But you can drive revenue from it. So big question sometimes I get is, what's the difference between upselling and cross-selling? Upselling is if you go to get a new phone and you want to get an iPhone 8 and you leave with like this new XS1, the XS Max, whatever the one that just came out, right? They upselled you into a better phone. Cross-selling, you go get an iPhone and you leave with the AirPods or some headphones that work with it. That's the difference between the two of them. And depending on your product, depending on your business, one will work potentially better for you than the other. So here's a couple examples. There's 3 places you can upsell or cross-sell, right? You can do it at the product page, at checkout, or post-checkout. This is Tecovas boots. If you guys look here, as you check out, if you buy these boots, it just says you add them to your cart. The slider comes out. Right below it says add a matching belt with your boots right to your order. And it's the exact same color as the boots that you are buying. Right? This is something you guys can do. They're a Shopify Plus store. So you can, if you're on Shopify, you can do this type of stuff. That's a product page upsell. You can do it at checkout. You can also do it post-checkout. There's some cool tools out there. Does anybody here use Cart Hook or one-click upsell? A couple of you guys. So great software options. Have a client who gets about a 30% take rate on their upsell post-purchase. And the reason that they have to do this, the reason it's important is because, again, you need to boost average order value so you can take some of that revenue, dump it back into advertising as it gets more and more expensive, as you have to compete more and more to grow your business. Lumi's doing the same thing here. It's a great offer. Think about this. They're selling a case, iPhone case, for $69, and then upselling a power light for $49. And if you buy it now, you get 15% off. Right? So that's almost doubling their average order value if people take that. Shopify Plus stuff you can implement. Now with email, right? This is something that Dollar Shave Club is doing for a while. I'm not sure if they're still doing it, but if you're on subscription, you know boxes are going to be going out, and you've got the ability to manage your fulfillment a little bit. How awesome is this? They know the box is going to be shipped. They send an email that says, hey, toss more in, add before we ship. You can add an $8 product, a $10 product, a $7 product, all complimentary stuff. So those are ways with email to increase average order value so you can, boom, continue to invest in ad spend. Now, if you don't want to use tools like Cart Hook, one-click upsell, you can also do it with your email service. It's not going to be as clean, and it might mess up tracking a little bit, but you can put in something like a bounce back email. This is a company, Paleo Valley, runs a immediate email after first purchase that for the next 60 minutes, you can get one of their products for 44% off. And it actually expires. So you can run it. Somebody places an order. It kind of looks like this, right? Someone places an order. You can split test 2 offers, run it right away. And the best type of products you can upsell or cross-sell are ones that are super complementary. Like think about electronics, right? Every time you buy electronics, the cross-sell is really helpful because you don't know what cords you need. I'm always like, okay, I'm buying this thing. Do I need all these? What do I actually need to make this thing work? Great thing to do if you want to put it on the back end. So that's how you can do it with email if you don't want to use one of those services with email. So last thing you want to do here, which I talked about earlier, is increase frequency. So what does that mean, increasing frequency? It means you want to drive more repeat purchases. Now this is tough, right? One of the hardest things to do is to go from a one-time purchase to a 2-time purchase. There's an article that came out, was kind of famous in our community a couple years ago, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It was like, that's a nice little $20 million e-commerce company you've got. Call me when it scales. And they talk about the problem that you can sell something one time, and you can hit a market and tap into that and sell it, and but how do you build like a moat around your business? How do you get people buying again and again? It's very hard to do. Customer churn is expensive. It's time consuming. If you're running a subscription, you guys know that especially. So repeat business is the key if you want to be able to scale up and continue to grow like some of the brands I was talking about earlier. You got to have repeat business. 80% of your customers are likely just going to buy one time, but there's still 20% in there that you can really focus on and influence, try to buy multiple times. So how do you increase frequency with email? How do you guys do that? Any ideas?
Send more emails.
You can send more emails? Yeah, for sure. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Send more emails. First things first, you can provide a better experience. There's been a lot of tactics. We've been talking a lot about tactics the last couple of days and like what to do here, flows, that sort of thing. Number one, providing a better customer experience. That's the best thing you can do to try to increase repeat purchases. You can do it with email too. I'll give you an example here. So there's two companies. One of them, Kindred Bravely, and the other one's New Hera. Kindred Bravely, their target market is mothers, nursing mothers specifically. And the other one is New Hera. It's a like an earbud. So before people have a hearing aid, you can put this thing in, connects with your iPhone, and also it'll help you with your hearing. So Kindred Bravely, about a $5 purchase. New Hera, $500 purchase. But look at the two emails, right? One of them, it's like, hey, your order's shipped. We've got good news for you. We're following up. It's a really nice email. The other one is just an order processing email, right? You spent $500, you get an order processing email. It doesn't feel that nice as a consumer. So you can really focus on this experience right afterwards. Make sure you're communicating with people. Make sure they know what's coming. Everyone's trained by Amazon to have things show up right away. So if it's not going to show up right away, you better over-communicate with people to make sure that they know when it's going to be there. Here's a great email on the customer onboarding side. I thought this was brilliant. So same company, Kindred Bravely. When you buy, a couple days later, like about a week later, you get this email that says, note to self. And it is written, we all are email marketers here, so we know it wasn't sent from an iPhone, but it looks like it was, right? It was like to mothers. It says, hi, mama, today may have been tough or it may have been beautifully easy. You might not always feel like that, but I know you're going to do your best. It's your future self reminding you to give yourself more credit. You are enough. You're the right mom for your little one. And it's like signed by the CEO, sent from my iPhone. So think about if you're this brand versus another brand. If you think that the CEO personally sent you an email encouraging you, you're going to have a better experience than just an order processing email, and that's it. A lot of times people just don't even follow up. They buy and you don't hear anything from the company you bought from. So just thinking about customer experience, you can do some things with email to help make that experience better. Just let people know the process, shipping, that sort of thing, when it's going to arrive. So back to what you said earlier, you can send more email, right? That's another way to bring people back. And specifically, you can segment your list and increase volume, sending volume. Mike was talking here about segmentation yesterday and what it meant for Taylor Stitch. So they grew their business, their revenue from email by 26% by sending 5% less email because they were starting to segment. So right now, if you guys take one thing away from this, and if you don't have an email marketing calendar built for the next 3 months, just go focus on that. And it doesn't need to be totally built out exactly what you're going to send, but you should know kind of what you are going to send. What I mean by that is you should know the style of emails you're going to send. And if you don't have a tool, just use Google Calendar, put it in there. This is from my own business. We know we're going to send out an email on Monday and Wednesday every single week. And then promotional emails scattered in there. But just getting the time to get ahead, being proactive versus reactive, is going to be very helpful as you guys continue to grow. So with that, so let's say you send 3 emails a week, or 3 emails a month. Let's say 3 emails a month. Now, there's people on your list. I live in Austin, Texas right now. It's like heart of football country, right in the middle of football season. And I want to give this example because you got fans here. They're all buying from the same people. The guys here with the hat, and this guy with his own personal Ohio State bobblehead, who's like the ultra fan. They're buying from the same people. But the guy, the Ohio State fan, you could probably email him 5 times a day about Ohio State, and he'd still be open up every one. He could probably if he could get a fire hose to spray him down with information about Ohio State, he'd be in, right? But the other guys, they bought a hat and a jersey, and they probably don't want to hear from you every single day. So thinking about segmenting and making a very engaged list, an engaged list, and sending to them differently, right? If you are sending 3 emails a month, well, make a smaller engaged segment, and then double your sending volume to that smaller engaged segment who actually wants to hear from you. One, most of the revenue is going to come from those people anyway. And then you're also not isolating some of the other people or over-sending to the other people. So you can create an engaged list and a very engaged list. And then with your campaign strategy, email the people who really want to hear from you more often. Just double it. Other interesting things you can do. I wanted to go to Steve Deckert's talk because we've worked with Smile a lot, and I wanted to hear what he was talking about. But you can use loyalty points to trigger emails. And these are really effective, whether you're using Swell or Smile or whatever you're using for loyalty. This is an example from Greetable. So as people accumulate points, the big thing that happens is people forget that they have points in their account. So you can set up and integrate, if you're using Klaviyo or not, if you're using Klaviyo, you can integrate Smile and Swell, whatever your loyalty points are. And then you can trigger these emails when people hit certain thresholds. So this email, for example, they hit 1,000 points in their account, they get $10 credit. So that can just be automatically triggered. And then you can follow up with people if they haven't used their credit. You just continue to follow up on this credit in their account, because who doesn't want to use $10 of free credit in their account? And again, you hope they come back and buy more than those $10. So simple things to do like that. Loyalty points. But really what we should be thinking about is, how do you build a system for driving repeat sales, right? How do you build a system? And flows are really not, there's some set and forget side of it, but it's also active. You got to be actively managing it. But if you build a system, here's an example. If any of you guys have come to one of my workshops, I talk a little bit about this campaign, but it's a 1-2 punch email campaign. Targets people who recently bought for the first time. Going back to what I said earlier, it's very important to get that second purchase through email because it's more profitable for you guys. So the 1-2 punch campaign is basically you want to find out what people are doing normally and then incentivize them to make that purchase that they would most likely do. If they don't buy at a full price, you want to add some sort of a discount ladder or incentive ladder to this. So here's an example, right? I think of like supplements that I take. So like take fish oil and like I'll have collagen powder. And I feel like I'm always buying collagen powder like every 30, 40 days because I'm always running out. So if I'm buying from them, the thing that they should be doing is following up specifically with that product because I know I'm gonna have to buy it again. So if your multi-buyers buy the same product, follow up with the same product. If they buy different products, if you're a shoe company or if you're selling running shoes, someone just buys running shoes, you just try to sell them the same running shoes 30 days later, it's not gonna work. You gotta find complementary products. So your multis, if they buy related items, then follow up with a related item. So the idea kind of looks like this. Place an order once over all time. Then you follow up with, in this example, we think you'll love this. So they bought something, you follow up with a complementary product. Your targeting is going to vary on your every one of you is going to have a different target, right? If you're selling BMW accessories, I was talking to a company that's selling BMW speaker systems. You probably have a little longer than 25 days before you try to resell people more BMW accessories. But smaller replenishable items, it happens quick. Here's an example from a candle company called Truva. It's an email following up like this. Looking for a new flame, here's a list of the products that we have. And this could be, like I said, a system so that no matter what you're sending on the campaign side, they're still going to get these types of emails. So you're trying to sell complementary products. And then if they don't buy, then you can kick into a discount ladder and provide more incentives to make that purchase. Because again, remember, if they come through and they buy through email, you're not paying tolls on advertising. It's super expensive. Just think of them as like a toll booth. Every time people come through Facebook, you're just dumping cash, right? If you can do through email and you can incentivize your customers that way, it's cheaper for you and it's better for them. So you can give an incentive, maybe 30, 60, 75 days, something like that escalates. If someone takes one, they don't see the other offers. Now, if you guys want to sign up for like a really great email newsletter, go sign up for Moo. Whoever's doing that is doing a great job. They have to be doing a great job though, because printing is freaking competitive, right? We are starting to, if you want to get stuff printed, it's all price-based. You're out there looking and there's so much more competition. And for them, they got to spend a lot to acquire a customer. So on their end, on the email side, they're making all their money off the email marketing side. So they're really good. This is a simple email that you could put together. Something like this, put a 72 hours left on a sale, an escalated sale type thing. So that's kind of a rundown of those 3 levers. One question you might be thinking is like, how do you know your email strategy is working? And we've talked a lot like on the micro level, like open rates, click-through rates, that's all important stuff. But also like you want to think bigger picture, like is this driving my whole business forward? Am I doing the things that improve those 3 levers? So I've got this growth calculator that I learned about kind of from Drew Sanaki. If you guys know Drew, he was a CMO at Karmaloop. I worked with him for a while. And he's at nerdmarketing.com. So this growth calculator, you can put in your number of purchasers, average order value, and transactions. And it'll give you an idea of what, if you pump in like 20% growth, what your targets might look like. So if you look back at like the previous year, what you're going to expect in terms of those 3 things, and then set some goals and see if you're making some progress, if you're increasing average order value, increasing number of transactions, frequency, that sort of thing. That's what you can think of kind of bigger picture. Is this actually moving the needle for the business? So my big like kind of takeaways for you guys, email is a communication channel for your marketing strategy, right? Facebook's communication channel for your marketing strategy. If you want to run some numbers, take a look at the last year's number of customers, average order value, transactions. Maybe look at the last 90 days as well. And then when you're forward kind of casting, compare what you had last year to what you're doing this year, and are you moving those levers up? And like before you send an email, think like, what is this going to do for us? Is this going to increase average order value? Is it going to be a kind of retention sort of thing? And then set a goal from that. So I think if you guys are using the guidebook thing, you can also opt in there. I got this growth calculator if you guys want to download it. It's a tool you can pop in your numbers and start thinking kind of bigger picture. But that's it. You guys enjoyed.
Awesome, thank you. So I think we have time for 2 questions. We got a couple questions out there.
Come on.
We got to have something. Austin, you did such a good job.
Thank you.
Anything? Any questions about growing your business?
All right.
Or Austin solved everything.
Yep.
Okay.
Where do you usually start when you're thinking about? Oh, thank you. What are some thoughts about where you might start in terms of building out different? You talked about increase the number of customers versus increasing your average order value and all of that. What are some thoughts on deciding where you might start with that?
I think it depends a little bit on what type of business you run, right? Some businesses don't lend themselves to some of those levers. Like if you've got, let's say, clothing company that has lots of different SKUs, well, you can focus on increasing frequency because you're putting out new products, trying to get people to buy multiple times. If you're selling a one-time use product, it's gonna be really hard to focus on frequency. What type of business do you have? Daily deal site. Okay, so frequency is something you guys could focus on, right? I mean, you probably are because you're emailing every single day. That's like it's a little different. It's a little different model. But it's going to just depend on if you're thinking over an entire year, right? You got to start thinking about product as well. Like if we're going to really focus on increasing frequency or average order value, like you got to roll out new products. Because if you're just a one-off product business, it's hard to scale up, really scale up, right? You look at some of the other businesses that have grown and scaled, they usually will roll out other products at a certain point. Maybe start with watches and roll out sunglasses. That's a nice combo product. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Yep.
Hi, my name is Kim, CEO and co-founder of Curl Mix. We sell curly hair products, just to give you a frame of reference. So what I've found is that, conversion rate matters, email is great, but all of it starts with traffic. And, one of the main ways to do it is to pay for it,
Sure.
Facebook or whatever. Do you have any other creative ideas or things that you've seen work that really well for traffic outside of paid Facebook ad? I know you have to do that, but is there something you can do supplementary to that?
I mean, I'm definitely like not advocating not to pay for traffic because I think you 100% have to compete with it. But I mean, there's YouTube, SEO. There's lots of different things you could do. I don't know for your specific market if it's possible. There's people that are blogging and using that as kind of a content machine and bringing people in, capturing emails, and trying to move people from email capture to purchase. But mostly like paid traffic, SEO. There's PR as well. I mean, PR is another tool that sometimes works really well. Amplified PR tends to work well as well, where like you get PR and then you amplify it yourself by spending ads to direct towards PR wins that you've got. Kickstarter, like that's a lot of people make more money from amplifying like Kickstarter looking like PR wins than even from Kickstarter. Or like sometimes you'll see like Forbes, some sort of Forbes ad where it's a quote from Forbes about their product. And it looks like it's from Forbes, but it's actually just amplified by the business running to content. So that would be my tips.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.